The wind screamed across Parsons Bluff like it wanted to tear every house from the earth. Joel Totham stood on her porch, 8 months pregnant, staring at the land she was about to lose. Her belly hurt, her heart hurt more. Winter was coming fast, and she had no one left to help her fight it. The ranch had once been a proud place. The Totham family had built it with sweat and faith, passing it down through generations, but now the paint peeled like old bark. The barn looked ready to collapse, and the fence leaned tired toward the ground. The house groaned with every gust of wind, as if it begged for a rest it would never get. Her late husband, Levy, was gone, a terrible accident. One moment he was alive, stacking hay like he always did, whistling to the horses. The next, everything turned red and silent. Joel still woke some nights expecting him to be beside her, his arm warm across her shoulders, telling her everything would be fine. But everything was not fine. Debt notices filled the drawer. The bank threatened to take the ranch. Winter storms would soon pound Montana like a hammer, and the baby inside her kicked harder, each day like she already wanted out into the world. "You picked one tough time to show up," Joel whispered to her belly. Martha Ellison, her husband's godmother, stood behind her. Martha was the kind of woman who never sugarcoated anything because life didn't either. She watched the broken barn with narrowed eyes. "You need help," Martha said. "You can't run this ranch alone, not like this." Joel lifted her chin. "I can manage, with a baby on your hip, snow on the roof, and fences ready to fall." Martha shook her head. "There's an auction today, men needing room and board. You can offer work and a bed. It's not shameful. It's survival." Joel didn't want to go. The idea made her cheeks burn. Standing in town, big and pregnant, bidding on a stranger like she was choosing cattle. It felt wrong, but hunger and fear pushed harder than pride. 2 hours later, Joel sat in Martha's old truck in the courthouse square. People gathered, whispering, staring. Some felt sorry for her. Some enjoyed the show. The platform for the men stood just a few feet up, but it felt like a stage for shame. The men lined up on one side, dirty jackets, rough eyes, scars on hands. Men who had fallen on hard times but still had work left in their bones. They did not look at the crowd. They looked at the ground like hope had become too heavy to lift. Tony Eldridge, the auctioneer, grinned with missing teeth. "Welcome, folks. These working men offer their labor for room and board, maybe a little pay if you can spare it. Let's give them dignity and a chance." Dignity? Joel almost scoffed. Tommy made money when people failed. He didn't care about dignity. One by one, the men stepped onto the platform. A young farm boy, an old soldier, a mechanic with grease still in his hands. They went for cheap bids. Some faces tightened in fear when they realized who bought them. Then a man stepped forward who made Joel's breath hitch. Tall, broad shoulders, a quiet calm about him, boots clean but worn. Eyes like Montana spring water, cold, deep, holding stories he never told. He carried almost nothing, no family waiting, no plan. Tommy squinted at his card. Beckett Lane, 33, ranch work, military service, carpenter, mechanic, horse handling. Says he can fix just about anything. The crowd came alive. 100, someone yelled. 125, 150. Joel's stomach dropped. She couldn't compete, not even close. Then came the banker's voice. Richard Keene, the man who smiled whenever others suffered. 300, he called, puffing his chest. He glared at Beckett like he already owned him. Silence fell. Tommy grinned, ready to slam his hand down and hand the man over. Joel pushed open the truck door. Martha grabbed her sleeve. "Don't. You can't win this." "I don't have to win," Joel said. She walked toward the platform, every step heavy from the baby inside her, every eye on her swelling belly. Some laughed, some whispered. She kept moving. She looked at Beckett, not the crowd. I can't offer cash like that, she said, voice steady even as her heart pounded. I have a ranch falling apart, a barn roof ready to drop, and a baby coming. I can give you a warm bed, hot meals, and honest work. I'll treat you like a man, not like something to be bought. The crowd grew silent. The banker scoffed. This is an auction, Joel. You can't just change the rules. Beckett finally spoke. I'll take her offer. Tommy's mouth fell open. Hold on, that ain't it is. Beckett interrupted, stepping off the platform. I'm not cattle. I don't belong to the highest bidder. He stopped in front of Joel and took off his hat with respect. If you want me, ma'am, I'm yours to work. Joel swallowed hard and nodded. She could not find her voice. Martha clapped once loud. Well, she said, looks like you found yourself a cowboy. As they rode home, the sky darkened with snow clouds. Beckett sat in the truck bed, eyes scanning the ranch ahead, like he was already planning how to save it. Joel cradled her belly, heart beating faster. She had bought a stranger, but something deep inside her whispered that he might be the miracle she had been praying for. The next morning, the sky hung low and gray. Cold air crept through the cracks of the old ranch house, reminding Joel how close winter was now. When she stepped outside, Beckett was already awake, working like he had lived on this land all his life. He fixed the barn door first, then the fence by the creek. Then he found a broken pump and got it running again before noon. He didn't complain, he didn't ask questions, he didn't waste a single word. Every hammer strike and every step he took felt like hope returning piece by piece. Joel watched him from the porch, one hand resting on her belly. The baby kicked again, strong and impatient. She whispered to herself, "You'll have a roof over your head." He's making sure of it. When Beckett came inside for lunch, he removed his hat and waited by the door like he wasn't sure he deserved warmth. His eyes drifted to her belly first, then away with a quiet respect. "You need rest," he said, "and the ranch needs work." She replied, handing him a plate of stew. "It'll get done." He answered, "But you come first." Joel blinked, surprised. Levy had loved her, but he also loved the ranch more than anything. Sometimes she wondered if she had ever come first to anyone. Beckett ate slow and quiet, like someone who had learned not to rush through good moments. When he finished, he stood and thanked her, then returned to work before she could argue. Days passed that way. Cold mornings, hard work, quiet dinners, soft looks that said more than either of them dared to speak. At night, Joel lay awake thinking about the way Beckett moved, not just with strength, but with care. He repaired each broken part of the ranch like he understood exactly how much this place meant, like he knew it was holding Joel together. He never asked about Levy. He never treated her like she was fragile. He just made sure she was never alone when she needed help. One evening, Joel found him leaning on the corral fence, watching the horses settle for the night. The sunset painted the sky red and gold. She stepped up beside him, feeling safer than she had in months. "You've done a lot in such a short time," she said. He kept his eyes on the horizon. "Ranches deserve steady hands." "You deserve steady hands," she swallowed, her heart thudding. "Why did you choose me?" "You could have gone with someone who could pay more." For the first time, he looked directly into her eyes. "Because money can't buy purpose," he said. "This place feels like a fight worth joining." Joel's breath caught. No one had talked about the ranch that way since Levy died. A gust of cold wind kicked at the dust. Beckett reached gently, adjusting her coat so the wind wouldn't hit her belly. His touch was light but strong. She should have pulled away. She didn't. That night, Joel couldn't sleep. Her back itched and the baby pushed low, restless. She walked to the living room, letting fire warm her face. Beckett tapped softly at the door before entering. His hair was damp from washing up, his expression unsure. "I heard you moving around," he said. "You hurting?" "It's just the baby reminding me she's coming soon." He nodded and stepped closer, offering a chair. She sat breathing slow while pain rolled through her again. Beckett looked worried but stayed calm. "You ever been around babies?" she asked through a tight breath. His jaw tensed once. Something flickered in his eyes. Grief, loss. Joel recognized it because it lived in her too. She didn't push him to explain. The fire popped. Outside, a coyote howled into the dark hills. "You lost someone," Joel whispered. He clenched his hands. "My wife and our child both gone." His voice was hard but breaking. "I failed them." "No," Joel said, shaking her head. "You survived." He looked at her then, really looked as if he was seeing not just a widow, but a woman still trying to keep a whole world standing. Silence grew heavy between them, full of the things neither dared to hope for. Beckett stood suddenly. "I should let you rest," but as he turned, Joel grabbed his wrist. Her hand was small, but the strength in her grip stopped him cold. "You don't have to run anymore," she said softly. "Not here." For a moment, he didn't breathe. Then he placed his hand over hers, warm, strong, steady. "I'll stay," he said. She let go slowly, her heart thudding, wild and confused. She wasn't ready for anything more. She was still carrying Levy's child. She still wore Levy's ring, but her broken heart had finally stopped closing every door. The next morning brought a new worry. The wind had shifted. Storm clouds rolled over the mountains fast. The horses paced in the corral. The goats bleated nervously. Even the chickens refused to leave the coop. Something was coming. Beckett tightened barn doors. Joel tried to help until a sharp pain wrapped around her belly. She gripped the fence and gasped. Beck, it was at her side in seconds. "You need to lie down." "It's too soon," she said through clenched teeth. 2 weeks early. He guided her to the house, every movement gentle but urgent. Martha rushed to boil water and gather blankets. Thunder cracked over the valley like a warning shot. Joel's breaths came quicker. The contractions grew stronger. The room spun. Beckett knelt beside her. "I'm here." Her fingers wrapped around his hand like it was the only solid thing in a breaking world. "You won't leave," she whispered. "Never," he promised. Lightning lit the window with a flash as the storm hit the ranch full force. The wind howled. The horses screamed. The barn shuddered like it might tear apart. Beckett looked toward the door, torn between duty and the woman fighting for breath right in front of him. Outside, disaster waited. Inside, a new life fought to arrive. Joel clung to his hand as another wave hit, sharper than before. "Beckett," she cried, fear rising. "What if something goes wrong?" He leaned close, voice steady and low. "I'll get you both through this. You're not alone anymore." As the greatest storm of the year crashed around them, Joel realized something with pure certainty. He wasn't just helping her survive. He was becoming the hope she thought she had buried with her husband. The storm beat against the ranch like it wanted to break every window. Wind shoved at the walls. Rain hammered the roof. The house creaked under the weight of it all. Joel lay on the floor by the fireplace, clutching a blanket and breathing through pain that made the world go white. Martha knelt beside her, wiping sweat from her face. "You're doing good. Just keep breathing. She's coming fast." Beckett dashed between helping inside and rushing outside whenever the wind shifted too hard toward the barn. The horses kicked and cried out as lightning cracked across the sky. The barn leaned with every blast of wind. Flames still smoldered from the fire he had fought earlier. The storm kept trying to take what little piece they had rebuilt. Joel cried out again, grabbing Beckett's sleeve as he came back inside. "Don't go, please." He dropped to his knees beside her. "I'm right here." Her whole body shook as another contraction tore through her. She tried not to scream, breathing hard, holding on to his hand like she needed his strength to survive the night. Martha checked the baby's position again. Her face tightened. "She's turned wrong. Need to help her or she's not coming out safe." Joel's heart pounded. Fear rose sharp and cold. "Please don't let anything happen to her." Beckett gripped her hand tighter. "Nothing will happen to either of you, I promise." Thunder crashed. The lights flickered. Then darkness swept the room. "No." Joel gasped. Martha lit a lantern quick and set it beside them. The flickering glow made shadows jump around the room like ghosts from the past. "Your body knows what to do," Martha said. "Trust it. Trust us." Joel pushed. Tears streamed down her face. The storm roared louder, shaking the windows like fists, pounding to get in. Her vision blurred as the pain stole her breath. It hurts, she gasped. Beckett leaned closer, his forehead nearly touching hers. You can do this. You're the strongest person I've ever met. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to be brave, but fear clawed at her. What if I can't? She whispered. Beckett's voice broke, rough with emotion he never showed. Then I'll hold you up until you can. Minutes felt like hours. The baby was stubborn. Joel's strength faded. The storm shook the house again, and somewhere outside, wood snapped loud and terrifying. The barn. Joel's heart lurched. Beckett. The ranch can burn, he said. Not you, not her. She clung to his words like a lifeline. Then Martha's voice came sharp. Now, Joel, push. Push with everything you've got. Joel screamed, not in fear, but in pure, fierce fight. She pushed through every heartbeat of pain, pushed through grief, through loneliness, through every cold night she spent holding her belly alone. Then a cry split the air. A small, strong cry. Martha lifted a tiny baby into the lantern light. Red, faced, alive, angry at the world already. A girl, Martha said, breathless. A perfect little girl. Joel sobbed and reached for her. Martha placed the baby on her chest, skin to skin. Joel wrapped her arms around the child like holding sunshine after months of darkness. Beckett froze, staring at the newborn. Like he was seeing a miracle he didn't think he deserved to witness again. His eyes shone in the dim light, and he didn't bother to hide the tears that escaped. What do you want to name her? Martha asked. Joel looked at Beckett. He looked at her, unsure, waiting as if the name wasn't his to give, but Joel shook her head gently. You say it. He swallowed hard. Rosalind, he whispered. My mother's name, Joel nodded. Rosalind Totham, the name fit. Strong, soft, hopeful. Beckett reached out slowly like he was afraid of breaking the moment and brushed the baby's tiny hand with his fingertips. She grabbed his finger tightly, refusing to let go. Joel smiled tiredly. She likes you. He let out a shaky breath. I already like her, too. Rosalind's cry softened, and she settled against Joel's chest, breathing calm and new. Beckett stood and hurried outside. The wind still howled, dragging pieces of the world with it. The barn groaned loud. He fought the storm with everything he had left, securing boards, calming horses, saving the ranch piece by piece. He returned, soaked, cut, and filthy, but the barn still stood. The animals were safe. He walked back into the house quietly and stopped when he saw Joel rocking Rosalind by the fire. Joel looked up. You saved us. You saved yourselves. He replied, No. She said firmly, You came when we needed someone most. He swallowed, unable to speak. Martha patted his shoulder on her way to bed. You two got this now, she said. Try not to make a mess of it. When they were alone, Beck had knelt beside Joel again, but this time the moment was gentle, warm, new. You're not alone anymore, he said softly. Joel brushed a tear from her cheek. Neither are you. Beckett hesitated, then asked in a voice almost too quiet, Do here, can I stay? Not just as hired help, but as someone who cares, someone who wants to be here with you both. Joel looked down at Rosalind. Then she took Beckett's hand and placed it over their baby's tiny heartbeat. You're already part of this family, she said. Outside, the wind began to calm. The first snowflakes drifted slow and peaceful from the dark sky. The ranch stood battered but unbroken. Like the people inside it, a widow who found strength she didn't know she had. A cowboy who carried love he thought he'd lost forever. And a newborn girl whose first breath changed everything. Together, they had survived the storm,